Hello. I'm going to read a few poems from this book, which is, you can't read it because it's backwards, because of that mirror image thing. But it's called I Am the Dead, Who You Take Care of Me. Much of this book seems to me to take place in the desert. The North American desert, particularly in the Mojave and the Great Basin, but some of it seems to have its body elsewhere, including in the eastern woods of upper New York State, the upper Hudson Valley, where I am right now. I'm here in Austerlitz, where I learned how to talk. I grew up, spent some of my childhood very near where I am right now. So I want to read a few poems which seem to me to emerge from this place and also from the Ireland that my father grew up in and spoke of always, and still does, but spoke of always through my childhood. And also there are historical and literary texts and figures mixed throughout these poems. These are all from a sequence called Calamus. All the poems are called Calamus. Calamus. Railwater at the ankles, says the speaker, is a ghost. A strand of corpse that's yours, doubled off the heart. This is further evidenced from its most numerous feet and head, that low protuberance, as if surrounded by no light. More evidence was brief, and it frightened me terrific. Dogs, smoke-colored, at the edge of blue woods. A boy, held aloft, in terror as in grace. But then some people gave me coins, a pork sausage in my suit, and Daddy it all jingled like toast and eggs in church. I wore it next morning where hair flew out their mouths. I wore it next morning and could not be believed. But Christ, I saw them woods, and understood that it must night. We're resting on our haunches and looking backwards toward the house. Calamus. Shortly after this, some antennae rustled out, and then hung downward from your body as if toward the living earth. Next there was a howl, called out and well-sustained, mixed with liquid rising yips from 3 more persistent throats. Then you followed with your voice, then came silence, then the dogs from just beyond the gate where the night was very cold. The next night was starved and wilted while Mother rode to church, too terrified to look into the bog of our good luck. The dark church taken, a plate of buttered toast and starving, so I enjoyed the wide view. But Daddy, who can stand it? It all jingles as with wounds, and a nice lake was blazing, though I wouldn't know which one. Calamus. At Easter, Mother showed the sun, the dancing molten joy, the molten globe and skies. Then, through nettles in the hedge, I could climb the white thorn hills and roll down into the ditch and rise up from the dry drain, and then take more days and years to cross that wheaten sedge mirage that lay down between 2 hills to walk into the sun. You fell into a sleep. You heard voices call your name, and the night went very blue and could not be observed, by which body that carried it, nettle and briar, through this small wooden gate as peeled as brains. This, said the book, though I wouldn't know which one, shapeless as it was with windows as with sound. A small wooden gate, and the cottage abandoned, and the doctrine abandoned, which belonged thus to God. Calamus. This violence had been organized, the people driven south, till they rested right here and stayed 200 years in soft animal trespass with sycamore ink to call out down the lane when fathers were the law. There was a large brown bin and 3 sisters in that room, and a small red lamp beneath a hologram of God. The kettle went to boil, while the moon in the small lake swung out heedlessly through trees as if we all would never die. But all them names were northern. The stream with its small pools through which many were related and every house was burned. Also you could be a priest, in coats where night had turned, reflecting the pale moon in the gravel of the road. Calamus. There was silence for a long time, parochial rain, but your shame would be public before I reached the school. I ran and ran, the wheels in agony for mass, and hung about the land till hunger dragged us back. Because one day, when you'd all died, I knew I'd be the priest and place my unwrapped hands in your unity of God, your boggy meadow names, and their seams beneath the earth, running up the slope through windows in the turf. That mountain was a face, smashed mouth and lumps of teeth, through all its shifting light, and every child stared, till the giant had descended, come down the mountain in that rain, as now he watched us from the porch, and not one roof was saved. These next few are more, very much of the eastern woods. Those had a little of the Irish in them, maybe you could feel. These have a lot of material from the Jesuit Relations, 17th century texts written by Jesuit missionaries in upstate New York, in what is now upstate New York, and what is now Canada. I'll read a couple of these, maybe. Calamus. I had gone forth from our village in my usual manner in order to groan more freely before you, you who are the dead, who I take care of, you who the dead take care of me. Here were letters pinned to trees along the forest at the stream, whose images are buttoned to your flesh when it was peeled. The woods, the smell of woods, moss, the touch of moss, as each sensing in our story becomes a providential corpse, yours, your missing corpse. It proves the presence of your name in the absence of my throat where logs turn into loam. So, little father, raise it up. The light's a stone that speaks, made of meat and hair, in your hand where it still bleeds. This feels like a good place to stop this reading. Let's listen to the woods for a second. Thank you.